2025 property tax notices are in. Are your taxes going up or down? And do you need to file an appeal for your property taxes? That is what I'm talking about today. So, depending on where you live in Utah, you might be happy with the results of the 2025 property tax valuation. And what they're looking at with property taxes is what your home value is in 2024 and what they're estimating it to be in 2025. Now, a lot of people might be like, great, it's a buyer's market, property values are going down, so my taxes are going to go down. That's not necessarily true. And if you're in Salt Lake County, what I'm finding is that if you're on the east side of Interstate 15, your property taxes probably are going up for 2025. But interestingly enough, the west part of Salt Lake County seems to be going down. Now, I don't want to make a blanket statement for everybody, but I looked at a few houses here and there on Salt Lake County. I know personally my property taxes in Draper are going up. Now, not a huge amount, they're going up maybe $100, which it all adds up, don't get me wrong. Sandy, I looked at a couple properties in Sandy, a couple properties in Mill Creek, and those were all going to be going up if the proposed tax increase is approved for 2025. And I'm going to take you through that in just a minute. And then for the west side, I looked at a couple houses in Harriman, a couple houses in Daybreak, South Jordan, Riverton, and all of those were going down. Now, not a lot depending on the increase, but when I say increase, I mean the property tax increase. West side, Riverton, the properties I looked at were going down around $45, $50. Daybreak, some of them were going down $75, $80, and then Harriman was going down $100 to $200. So it's good news if you're on the west side of town. Now, Utah County and Summit County don't make it as easy to view as Salt Lake County. So, I don't have the data for them. And Sevier County on vacant land that I own, property taxes and values are expected to go up as well. Single family homes and things like that, I'm not 100% sure on it in Sevier County, but so it just seems to be kind of a mix. Now let's talk about how the property taxes are valued, because a lot of people get the idea in their head, well, values are going down for the most part. Like houses aren't selling for as much as they were last year. So my property taxes should be going down because my home isn't worth more. That's not necessarily how it works. And then I'm going to jump into what you need to do if you want to appeal what they say your home is valued at. Now, I will say, looking at Draper and Salt Lake County in general, I have to say they are probably the most accurate they've been in many years, to be honest. I looked at one home that I sold in Salt Lake County recently, and they were within thousands of dollars, usually at, 20, 30 plus $1,000 off. But I'm talking like within $4,000 or $5,000 from the purchase price. So they are getting more accurate on these, but let's talk about how the valuation works and the appeal. Now, the number one thing I recommend that you look at with your property taxes is if your square footage is accurate. Now, with Salt Lake County, you'll see here, this is my property valuation, but I redacted some of the information on here. But you'll see in the top right-hand corner that they give you what your above ground square footage is. And you want to make sure that's accurate, especially if you live in areas that have older homes, because I find those are less accurate than the newer homes are. And that square footage is part of the calculation for your property taxes. So if you're paying for more house than you have, you want to get that corrected. Now, in the center portion, and this is for Salt Lake County, every county, they look a little bit different, but you'll get the gist of it. In the center here, you'll see the notice of property value, and they compare 2024 to 2025. And if this is your primary residence, then you should be getting a resident exemption reduction, which means you're not paying full price for your property taxes. Typically, you get about a 45% discount if it is your primary residence. So for me in Draper, my full market value is about $40,000 more in 2025 value than it was for the 2024 value. And then at the bottom section, the notice of tax changes. So they tell you what you paid in 2024. They tell you if the tax increase goes through for 2025, this is what your taxes will be. And if there is no budget change for tax increases, what your taxes would be based on no change at all. So, I mean, I always count on the tax increase going through. That's the best bet for you to go by. So, if you want to appeal what you think your home is worth for 2025, you want to look at the requirements of each county depending on where you live. But typically speaking, you're going to need 3 to 5 comparable properties since January 1st of the tax year that you are appealing. So from January 1st, 2025 to current are the comparables or appraisal that you would need to submit. You can also, depending on the county, you can also submit the purchase records of your home. So if you purchased your home in March and you paid 600,000 and they're saying it's 650, some counties will allow you to submit those as well as for proof of your home value. Now, some counties will put the website on your tax notice for you of where to go, but a simple Google search of like Salt Lake County property tax appeal, you can find it. And it's usually going to be through the Board of Equalization with the county that you are in. So it's an easy way to find the appeal form. I do have to say, Summit County did not make it easy to find their form at all. But when I looked at Salt Lake County and Utah County and Sevier County, it was very easy to find. Now, if you want to submit comps to support your appeal, that's not something you're going to be able to do. You can't go to a national website and pick a house in your neighborhood and send that over. For one, Utah is a non-disclosure state, so it may not even be getting reported accurately on those national sites. I know if I put it in on Zillow as an agent, which I actually don't even really report my sales anymore on Zillow, but I would just put $1 because we are a non-disclosure state. So you can't do that. You are going to need to reach out to a real estate professional who has access to the MLS to pull actual comps for your home. And then, of course, if you don't like the property tax increase approval or not for the budget, that's a whole voting thing, and I don't get into the politics of that. So even if your home value is correct and your home value has gone down from 2024 to 2025, there is still a chance that your property taxes may still go up based on what is being proposed for taxes in your area. I hope you found the video helpful. If you're looking at making a real estate move, I'd love to connect with you. You can shoot me a text or give me a call. That is the best way to reach me. If you're interested in talking about an appeal for your home or your home value, also feel free to reach out to me. I love to help people out whenever I can. But as always, make it a great day.